In this demo, we are going to show how Warpdrive's AI is capable of extracting business logic simply from observing the desktop of a business expert. We will use multiple recordings to create an intelligent automation within a few minutes with no programming. I've just logged into the Warpdrive dashboard. It provides a simple folder-like organizational structure. What we're interested in seeing today is how Warpdrive's AI can analyze desktop actions and identify business logic and create code and bots for it. The example that we will take is that of processing reimbursements. So we have a spreadsheet here with various entries ready to be approved or rejected. The idea is we want Warpdrive to observe what a business user does and in the background figure out the logic and create a bot for it. So in some cases like this, like what I did previously, we are going to go ahead and approve the reimbursements by filling out the various data fields. And in others, we're going to reject it by sending out an email. Note very importantly that we are not going to tell Warpdrive what the decision parameters are. We will only let Warpdrive observe the raw actions, and maybe the decision parameter is in the business user's head and not articulated in any precise description. So here I'm starting the first recording, and in this particular one, I am going to go ahead and reject um, based on the data that I see on the screen, right? So I'm sending out an email where I'm saying that this particular reimbursement is disapproved. In the next recording, and I'm going to discard this, I could have sent it out and made it a full bot. The next one that I will go, I'll select another row, I will start the recording, and in this particular case, I am going to go ahead and approve the recording. And as we are doing this second recording, what we're going to do is we're going to do this 5 times more so that we have a sum total of 7 recordings. And we are going to cut to the end of that when I'm done with those recordings. Note very importantly, business users are likely doing this over and over again, hundreds of times, but even more importantly, not doing it billions of times. And we call this human scale data. It is hundreds or maybe thousands for an entire organization, but not billions. And this is a demo case of reimbursements, but it could be loan or insurance approvals or sales processing or HR workflows. Most of them have that characteristics. A lot of them likely have hidden decisions that the business users take. Warpdrive can bring that underlying hidden logic up to the forefront. The biggest patent pending technical advantage of Warpdrive's technology is that it learns from this human scale data. It does not require billions of data points to identify the business logic or to generate code. And in this demo, we will only use 7 examples. So now we're back with the 7 examples that have been recorded. And what we will do is we will select these and kick off a generalization process, i.e. the learning process that will be done on the server. In this demo, we do it explicitly, but it could happen transparently in the background for large enterprise deployments. It takes a bit of time on the single server, so we will cut to when the processing is done. For this demo, the 7 examples, it took about 20 minutes to run on a single server, and that can be parallelized easy to be done faster. And to analyze more complicated traces across the entire organization, across hundreds or thousands of users running business tasks day in and day out. At the end of that processing, we get an intelligent bot out of it. It takes in a bunch of data variables. Let's try to see what happens when we try to run it over some data that it has not seen before. The data row that I selected, it looks like it inferred that it needs to reject that reimbursement, and so it's writing out a disapproval email. We're going to go ahead and let's pick another row. In fact, let's pick multiple rows and run the bot over all of them. Okay, so looks like the first entry needs to be approved, and it's put that in Expensify. The second entry looks like it is being rejected. That is going to happen automatically. Warpdrive's AI figured out what the decision variable was and what needed to be done in all of these cases. Given this bot, you can think of it as a digital assistant that was learned by observing your business user. Instead of the business user processing hundreds of entries, this bot can take over that task. Now comes the most important part. Let's pop open the hood and look under the engine of what Warpdrive created. First, note that it is an intelligent bot that can be shared with Google style links. Um, you can throw it into Slack, have somebody else use it, and it will work portably across different machines. More importantly, we'll note that it is not an obscure model with mysterious weights. It is a readable program. This is critical when you want accountability. Note that there are specific browser interactions that it learned, and it has some DOM interactions. And towards the bottom, we also see that it has learned some Windows UI interactions. So any application on the desktop can be used to tell Warpdrive what the business workflow looks like. More importantly, note the highlighted portions. These are the portions that Warpdrive is highlighting as places where it understood the business logic. The more data you provide, the more precise the logic becomes. But even from 7 demonstrations, we see that it identified a reasonably complicated logic predicate. Lastly, note that this generated bot, which took a total of 20 minutes of server time on a single core, is a 1,000-line program. We can view this as going from the business expert to a digital assistant through a no-code process that would otherwise have taken many orders of magnitude more time and effort and would likely not find all the hidden rules. So let's recap. It took me a few minutes to demonstrate a business workflow with multiple different scenarios being handled. There was some hidden business logic that was in the mind of the user as they were operating on the data. We took the human scale data, 7 recordings to be precise in this case, and let Warpdrive's AI not only write the code for a bot for it, but also figure out the hidden logic that was being used. Warpdrive's AI is patent pending and one of a kind. We look forward to telling you more about it.